did 3 billion for small shop. Now we buy a market, a mini market. We pay 2 billion. I don't know how. Nasa nuni anu kan wasam. Nasa makani gusu kan. Move on to Kwasa Babesija.
When you evidence be a mujina so I say omo na besija.
Papa,
omo ne mo negotiation ANC a hash. Yeah, funny say disaster. Na nyina so be na mo wa mo bo mo so bo say omo na ahye ha.
Papa ye wo nyina so bebre, ye wo nyina so bebre. E ba obi a be kire ne de, obi be ka se electricity, obi be ka so, obi be ka se. But for the past 3 years no, ye nim kwa mo de afa so. Ye nim kwa mo de afa so. And a sub metro, omo so involved. Omo so ye involved. From the beginning, omo ni alaji ni kwa year 1. See en ka market wengu, wa bro mo ni market no. And you know, and we say, qualify, and I say,
they say, I share you disaster next year. One more members, then a more year, said the Baya, move it to me, I started with Juma dear Ewa. Oh, to see the Namia Drama, so what is some announcement? A channel upon Uncia, shop on your baby, even around 12 o'clock. And upon Uncian, Yanina Baha, you won't send penny for Waha. But I do my friend in Yano, say a papa, say a bonio, Yami Watasun Quanunim, a ya drink. And I'm going back fat the AC one. Now, young Chomon for Jenny, it's not just fire one. Ah, mobile day. The Abbey say, market no. A quantity of us of Bueno, the Asini Nano, Yabesi, Yabesi. That's a more lawless. Bueno, the offer to be a Yabesi. Mopa some of them Russia, me and a general dia. And no money you met Tenassi. No more kind of Faswa, Yadiba Bujano. No more money was Sakuquam, no more Becca Johnny Moo, and some of the Boabre. And then the Sadiatina, yeah, Clayina, Yabesi. But I say, so Lily, that is the that this is one of the leaders, Isaac, sharing with us what they intend to do for going forward from tomorrow. So the blame game is all over. We'll be around and monitor how this development unfolds.
Thank you very much. That's Isaac Justice Bidiako reporting live from the Anguna market, where over 400. Well, he reports that about 500 shops have been razed down after a fire incident that started around 10 p.m. last night. Quite unfortunately, but I'll bring you more updates subsequently. Let's move on and touch on other stories. Residents living on the Lagoon enclave have been urged to relocate as the second phase of a demolition resumes. The joint operation involves the National Security, the Greater Accra Regional Security Council, and the National Disaster Management Organization, GHOne. While the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Obiniwa-Akwili-Oklu, has declared a zero-tolerance policy for lagoon encroachment, GHOne's Director General insists that the exercise is a necessary disaster prevention measure aimed at protecting over 1 million residents of Lejokuku. However, some settlers on the Ramsar site are calling on the government to provide temporary shelter and a clear relocation plan, as the demolition has already rendered several homeless. The second phase targets larger houses built across the lagoon from the La area, and some residents remain adamant about not evacuating.
At least maybe we could get a letter that this is when we should move. Because previously there have been a demolition, but things were not destroyed this way. They pick your container and take to the municipal and they charge you and pay. So when they came at dawn time at 3:30. Some of them were at home, some of them were not here. The only distracting thing about it is they did not even allow us to pick our items from them because we didn't know they were coming at that time. And the history on this land is a whole lot. They claim we are we are using landfill to fill the stream, but it's not that way. It is the other way around, which is the child people who have been allowed to fill and build. Because many baby are try and I said we miss me to walk around. And it's a woman and I ban my baby and try you dear. And a China cram started until Soja from Mobrumicum. Wamba what do you want by tail? Edo be able Ukumende, Adebachi Usubu, Banam chef will get Nano into Amuyan, Shisha Papa Mayan, Romunja, Amuyan, and Wayan. Ha, or China Mimi Bejuma, the Cassini, the Bab Abilejuma, the Mididi. Into a soldier for Nombra, Ombo Unkume, Omon from Kwashabaras, Omon Bumukume, and me again and you, may your ho, Nifi baby, with your man, with your tax.
Between the show crowd, Michiano tax, man penifulu Jim Whiskey. One more batum Scacromunjo, batum allowance. Yea, batum allowance. One more judge tight. Less, Cromagy. Nadentina Mia, Sabi, Member home is Riska. Yam be bread. I have no baby. So by room. If you are Mijina, Pamia, Yapana, me all ye gun in Niba, Metuaba, Metuaba, your card, a Chesa Morgana card, a voters ID card. Tadana Moya,
do government no one banana also be boy na ye ni obi a ye ni mami ye mami awu ye papa ewu ye ni obi a na ye kita ma ye de omu a sisi a ni fan na ye de ye ma eni ye yire mu e fan ye de omu goda so se na ye mo bo ha o omu be se nyama no ha se ya na an robbers ni nyama be bubush no bebre imanu ko krom si a omu repi imanu omu jiji mani mu nyama wo mu nsem o so bi dia ye wo ani ye de mani ye ti wo ama baku fo na mi de omu wo ha
omu bakura omu pene se yanfa bebi omu where our dress
so bi dia ye wo ha se na be so omu be se a
bibia ye ni omu pese.
The demolition exercise has entered day 2, and my colleague Calvin Powell is at a particular location. Well, he will tell us where he is currently. Calvin, where are you currently? And in the video we played for viewers, residents are quite adamant. Is that the same story today?
Yes, Lily. I'm currently at the Toshi Bush Road, where the demolition exercise took place yesterday. And the atmosphere here has been that of agony and anguish on the face of the victims or the people that used to ply their trade here. And they've been mentioning that the exercise occurred at their blind side in the sense that they were not given prior notice. So behind me is one of the ovens that was being used to spray vehicles here. And I'm told it costs between 400 and 500,000 Ghana cedis. But it's been completely pulled down. And the owner has been saying that he will still not move out because he has nowhere to go. Their call is that government should try and get some allocation of land for them in order to ply their trade.
Okay.
And they've also been saying that the reason for the exercise is not true on their part because they are not contributing to flooding. Rather, across the Peshi Lagoon, where some people are filling and building in the Peshi Lagoon, if you can see at my far end there, that is the reason why anytime it rains, flooding occurs. So they plying their trade here, being trading in spare parts and all that has nothing to do with the flood that the authorities are claiming is the reason why they are carrying out the demolition exercise. At my far right is the people who are still working here because according to them, they have nothing to do apart from coming to their shop to work on vehicles that are brought here. And one of them said he has Range Rover that is working on, and some of the parts were destroyed. Okay. And according to him, the headlights of the Range Rover cost to the tune of 35,000 Ghana cedis, and this has been destroyed. So the owner of the Range Rover is asking him to purchase the two that have been destroyed through the exercise, and he has that money nowhere to come and purchase this item. The gentleman you see here in the blue shirt was the one that went viral yesterday, saying that he would turn into robbery if government did not find place for him to ply his trade. I earlier on engaged him and he ate his words. So I would like to engage him again to tell me why he mentioned those words yesterday and if he still stands by his position of turning into robbery. Mr. Akwesi Francis, you are live on GHOne television.
Okay.
And you are also say aban empe baby mawa. Say ne be ya obeye wejuma, obeye armed robbery.
Yes, please.
Identity na okasasa.
The woman says, "Sisi ana ye bi a ye adwuma no na wo ma eyin efi yi. Ti we de Mr. Aban, on fa na no mbre mu man na baby a ye benya no say hanye ha nkura pa on pe baby foforo na on fa mboa yen. Sisi ana adwuma ni baby a ye koye because ye in school na ankwe ni bia sa nti yesire no. De yenso ye de yenti di wure ma yenso yensa kan no ana yensa kan no. Nti baby a ye be ye adwuma de e say government no oboa yen. Nti se ohwe no ye minsa ni fensia new man bra dan na isi wona ho na ye park ye no ma ni bi edigu ni na e destroy nti na ye ma me oyaw e de car se me hwe na adwuma no me hu so by 4 years time there e se me call robbery no nti we dey me stress government no on boa yen na yen to me call back to our work.
All right, so Lily, that's Akwesi Francis over there, and his call is that government should just find some space for them to ply their trade. And what he said yesterday was out of frustration, and also the assault he was given by some military personnel during the exercise when he attempted to salvage his belonging. I have another person here who is a sprayer here. I just want to pick a short statement from him in regards the exercise and what he has those also suffered as far as the demolition is concerned.
Calvin, the man in blue, does he apologize for those unsavory words?
Yes, Lily, he actually apologized. Okay. And if you've missed it, let me speak to him again so that he will apologize on live TV for everyone to see. Pacho, in summer oka enyurano, ye pese everywhere kumemu o pacho hu anase den
me pacho de wo me say o ya o na me de na boss wo hwe baby am ye adwuma na wo hwe de wo ya ye me a ai fa na me ko start bio ise me kuta nkwala me no a bi ba ko university na ba ko pram ise skin ho ti we de me sre enye se me de ayi se me ni se me ye damajuma no kra no enye me first se me ye damajuma nti me se me ka bibi sa de a o mining fenche me menu me ho se me kasa but wo mo hwe na wo mo mbu ayen so ye kutansa na djuma no nti me pa mo cho.
Right.
All right, Lily, so he has apologized for his statement and he's only calling for the government to find space for them to ply their trade.
Absolutely.
And he mentioned that he has a child in the university and also secondary school, and the fees are staring in his face. So without the work, he won't be able to fulfill his responsibility as a father.
Okay, thank you very much, Calvin. That's Calvin Powell. He's along the Lagoon and Cliff. I told you that there's a demolition exercise and it has entered day 2. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agbija, says he will today, January 27, 2026, sign the contract for the construction of a bridge over the River Afram in the eastern region. The 3.6-kilometer bridge is expected to boost economic activity, improve regional connectivity and support agriculture and other livelihoods in the area. Speaking on State of Affairs last night with Joshua Kojo-Mensah, the Roads Minister also disclosed that the Volivo Bridge has been added to the project scope. He further revealed that a contract for the Dambai Bridge has already been awarded, with the contractor mobilizing to begin work on site.
Of our front planes, I'm signing the contract tomorrow for chairman for bridge, and sometime in the course of the year, the president will go there and do a sword cutting for both Tambai and chairman for. And don't forget, we are not only doing the roads in those areas, we are adding a number of roads connecting the.
So it's not just the bridges.
No. And there's an icing on it. There's another bridge, which is of interest, which President Mohammmed started in 2016, which is the Volivo Bridge. Last week we started the final negotiations for the outstanding money that will close the funding gap for the construction of the bridge itself. The approaches are under construction now, but the bridge itself, hopefully June, July. That project should also hit the ground. So we may be seeing the construction of 3 huge river crossings across the country that significantly improves connectivity, create value for the Ghanaian, and create opportunities for people to do business and shorten travel times and everything. Yes, contractor is mobilizing to site currently. Yes, so it's no longer a dream. We are now supposed to live the dream. we are supposed to build that dream. The contract has been selected, is mobilizing to site.
And
it's actually working.
What timelines are we working with?
Because that one is more complicated. It's the duration is 3 years, but if we need to give them more time, because it's a bridge, a project we've not done anything like that before.
Now, the Roads and Highways Minister, Gavin Kwame also said that the Mohammmed administration has already settled nearly 10 billion cedis in outstanding debts owed road contractors inherited from the previous government. Speaking on State of Affairs with Joshua Kujomensa, the minister described the payments as one of the largest sums cleared within such a short period.
At the time of transition, the volume of work, that's contracts awarded within the agencies of the ministry totaled about 110 billion Ghana cedis. And then works done and unpaid for by GHOne portion was about 21 billion. Road fund as of that time was about 5 billion, and then road fund and then cocoa roads were also around that time. So put together, it was about 30 plus billion. When we took over, that figure went on, because the way it works is that almost on daily basis, contractors are working and bringing certificates. So the 21 billion is probably more than 30 billion now. The 5 billion at road fund is about 10 billion now and increasing. And so it's an unsustainable situation that needed to be dealt with. And we don't have that kind of money allocated to the ministry to be able to pay arrears, let alone continue to pay for new things we are doing. So we needed to do some efficiency savings and also be prudent in the commitment of new projects, making sure that we budget for them properly to do new things, and also budget to retire arrears we met.
Well, let's subject this claim to scrutiny. The CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industries, Emmanuel Cherry, has joined us on phone. Mr. Cherry, thank you very much for speaking to us. I haven't engaged you this year, so Happy New Year, by the way.
Very happy to my daughter.
The minister says about 10 billion cedis has been paid to your members. How true is this? Have you received such money? Have your members confirmed receipt of this money?
First of all, thank you for our lives. Maybe thank you so much for such an opportunity, and God bless you for Mother Ghana for all that you're doing to the industry. One thing is, what the minister said yesterday on GTV, and then it continues with other sister stations. Looks a bit strange to some of us in terms of the portfolio that he just mentioned. Because somewhere July, you remember that the president gave the directive that an amount of money should be made available to payment of contractors. That was also saddled with challenges. As a result, the Minister for Finance decided that they should conduct an audit to all the certificates as well as ongoing projects. So it ended up being a validation across the entire country, which delayed the process. However, as of when a certificate is being validated, the payment will be made available accordingly, based upon the strategic nature of the project. For instance, like Sawam Pokwasi Road, you and I know that an amount of almost barely 800 million Ghana cedis has made available to the contractor to mobilize and continue the project, which is still ongoing, to speak. Recently, the president visited one of our award-winning contractors, right? Then instructed that 78 million Ghana cedis payment is being made immediately and what have you. I believe that also has been paid. So there are some pockets of payment which have been made behind the scenes. However, where the challenge is now is the debt portfolio in the books, as you speak, is over 40 billion. Now the minister is saying something that nearly 10 billion has been paid, without any specific, items being mentioned or a particular portfolio mentioned. Aside that, where the chunk of the issues happens to be the road fund contractors, we are the largest one on the list. Last year, December, the president gave a directive to the Minister for Finance to make immediate release of 1 billion Ghana cedis to payment. We came out saying that, yes, it's a welcoming news. However, it's just a drop in the ocean. So therefore, we should scale up or a bit to that amount, because in the road fund accrual, we have a little below 3 billion. So if the president is directing 1 billion, 1 billion out of that money, what happens to the rest? So we were even, pleading with the president that he should even scale it up to 5 billion out of 8.2 billion that owe the contractors. That we're still struggling on that particular aspect. However, I learned the president has given another directive that additional money to be made available to the 1 billion. The 1 billion that's supposed to have been disbursed as we speak is only 10 million Ghana cedis that has been disbursed so far, out of 1 billion. So that tells you that the chunk of the money is locked up in account.
Okay, Mr. Cherry, I want to get this clear. Is it true that indeed you and your members have been paid to the tune of nearly 10 billion cedis? Is this true?
That one, I speak to Rick.
Okay, but how much is owed? The minister said to the tune of about 30 billion. Is that accurate?
It's more than that. Okay. 40 billion plus.
40 billion plus.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And if you come to Cocoa Board is owing us over 4.2 billion Ghana cedis as we speak. Road Fund is owing 8.2 billion Ghana cedis as we speak. So putting them together, it's not a small portfolio amount of debt that is in the book as we speak. Even though we know and understand that it's an inherited debt portfolio that he came to meet, but as you know, government is continuous. So long as you inherit both the asset and liability, you must try and manage the liability aspect of it, which is trying as much as possible. Okay. But the tortoise snails of approach is where the worry is, because as we speak today, road fund contractors, they are the larger chunk. No payment has been made to any of them, and then they are the loudest. So therefore, if nothing is being made this week and next week, it's going to be something that the government cannot control, sincerely.
But have you been given timelines on these payments?
Yeah, as I said, the government, through the Minister for Finance, has released 1 billion, which is briefly in an account. Out of that 1 billion, it's only 10 million that has been disbursed to the small, medium contractors. That's
I get that, but I'm asking, I mean, with the totality of the sum, have you been given timelines? Has government gone into a negotiation with you that give them 2 years, give them a year?
Not yet, because we'll be meeting the president next week, and that's on the 11th of February. So that is where all these issues are going to at least be addressed. We're going to have an engagement to that effect, and then some of these issues will be teased out, and then find a better placement for all of them accordingly. So
what in your estimation is better placement?
Yes, because as we speak now, you and I know that the government also came to inherit this, and is also adding more projects to whatsoever that he inherited. Yeah. So therefore, the debt portfolio is not going to be the same. And then you and I know that our national pay is not that much. So there's going to be a struggle. So therefore, there must be a mechanism for us to be able to put in place to make sure that at least once we are clearing the outstanding, the legacy debt, try as much as possible to be also adding on the new project and be clearing them alongside as well. So therefore, it's not going to be easy for government, but we believe with the structures that we put in place, especially the financial engineering that we are seeing now, that a portion or a percentage of the royalties from the natural resources as well as that of the oil put together in block, at least is going to at least cushion some of this particular project and clear some of these arrears. We hope that God smile on us to give us more grace to be able to get more natural resources for us to leverage on.
Mr. Cherry, thank you very much Emmanuel Cherry is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industries. Let's move on and do other stories. A dispute over 300 cedi debt has ended in tragedy, with a man stabbed to death in Mankasim's new Nkusukum area. The victim, identified as Ejeku, was killed in a violent clash with his friend and work colleague Kwame Pluto. Eyewitnesses told GHOne News' Yao Boyjan that the two men who worked together as informal laborers had just returned from a day's work in the municipality. As they divided their earnings, Ejeku demanded his share. Kwame Pluto refused, sparking a heated argument. Ejeku grabbed him to claim his money, but Pluto pulled out a knife and stabbed him repeatedly. Ejeku collapsed from his injuries and was rushed to Roman Catholic Hospital around 8 p.m. in critical condition. He died despite treatment. Assembly member for the new Nkusukum area, Ali Abubakar Soring, confirmed the incident and revealed that the suspect, Kwame Pluto, has been remanded in police custody at Cape Coast's Ankafo police station for 2 weeks while investigations continue. Eyewitnesses and the victim's family described returning from a funeral in Kumasi to find the argument escalating, leading to the death of Ejeku. The matter has shocked many residents, with some underscoring the urgent need for peaceful conflict resolution in communities.
Yankasa obuli agwene ntase na batiri we wo ha na batiri we wo ha batiri we wo ko nsam basa nti ye besre de security fun mpanyimfo no fo na asifo na o maye he okrabahye da
Ejeku ye minua me wo fa ne ba nti ye wa ha ye wodwo na ne yira adwo boy amane ese won ko eyi bi wo kuru no no obedi ko nti obedi go si ni nchen nti owie na okoi nti mo na osan ba ase Ejeku koye no yeso ne bread and the minimum din one no ekenya ntokwa ma ono awo Ejeku serious na Ejeku so awo ni bi ono edin kan awo Ejeku serious na bread and so agi serious na Ejeku so mo de awo ni bi nti ohana na meme ba afie nti me ba afie me ohana meme ba Paul ba ka che me say ma asama abonam se dey ase no se Ejeku na wawu
it is a said ye here fra ban ho se watimi akuna dia na de amra ne da ne yemfa nto emfa maye eno a ne ye hia fi se ye ni bibia ye kwakwaye no enti se ye Ghana ha ye kum nipa na se nipa no so ye wade ye de be ye na de ye de watimi akum nipa no de ye aban won won fa anye no eno de yakuma beto ye mo pa.
This is Newsroom. I'm back with more after this break. Stay with me. You're welcome back from that break. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV, and I am Lily Mohammed. A member of the New Patriotic Party's legal directorate, Ishaq Ibrahim Esquire, is questioning why a suit has been filed against political parties concerning the method of selecting presidential and parliamentary candidates. Two prominent figures of the New Patriotic Party, Professor Kwabena Frimpong and Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, together with a National Democratic Congress stalwart, Dr. Christina Mwakuniama, invoked the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to challenge the internal voting structures of Ghana's major political parties. The plaintiffs argue that the current system, which confines voting to a limited group of specified executives, office holders and delegates, contravened the preamble and Articles 1, 17, 33, Clause 5, 42 and 55, Clause 5 of the 1992 Constitution. Ishaq Ibrahim, who is also a senior lecturer of the University of Professional Studies, says the timing of the call for the review is questionable.
The Constitution is not explicit as to whether all members of a political party should vote or not, because they are tying this to democratic principles. Yeah. If this is true, let's go to the mature democracies. Is that really what happens over there? And this is how you would find out that this particular, suit, especially with those two personalities, I'll talk about them, Professor Frimpong and then Nyaho. The timing, also look at the timing. Mm-hmm. What are they trying to achieve? Mm-hmm. One can just impute a motive to it. Mm-hmm. Is it really democratic principles that everybody should vote? For me, ideally, yes. Ideally, everybody should be allowed to vote. Mm-hmm. As I'm here, I'm a member of the legal director of the MPP. I've been a parliamentary, I've aspired to be a parliamentary candidate before. I've been a active member of the party since 1998. I don't have a vote. Yes, I wish I could vote. And if my candidate would have had my vote. But is my inability to vote enough? Such that it has breached constitutional provisions? I doubt it.
Now, Sisala West Member of Parliament Mohammed says he does not see the motive behind the suit against the internal election processes of political parties. Speaking also in GH today, Alhaji Sukbaru admits he will only agree with the suit if it is to cut down on monetization of the process by delegates.
If they want to talk about the monetization of it, to say that because of the delegate system, a certain candidate who is rich can use material like be it money or other material to be able to influence the decision of the election, that I will agree with them. But to say that every member of the party who is in good standing should be allowed to vote, it's how do you define a member of a party who is in good standing? It means that the person has to be an active member, paying his or her dues. Right?
Yeah.
That is a bit. So, we practiced it in 2015.
Up next is the latest in business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In business this afternoon, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. John Singh Pandit-Asiama, says despite improving economic indicators, securing long-term stability remains a major challenge. Opening the 128th Monetary Policy Committee meeting, he cautioned that 2026 will be a critical test of Ghana's monetary policy discipline. Dr. Asiama noted that inflation fell to 5.4% at the end of 2025, while gross international reserves rose to $13.8 billion, providing nearly 6 months of import cover. He added that strong economic growth and rising consumer and business confidence point to a positive outlook, but warned that favorable global conditions, including high gold prices, may not be permanent.
While Ghana has benefited from favorable external conditions, particularly higher gold prices, we must remain mindful that these tailwinds may not be permanent. Domestically, rapid disinflation has created policy space but also raises important questions and policy issues. While well-coordinated monetary and fiscal policies have supported these gains, our task is to assess the durability of these policies and calibrate policy to support growth while preserving credibility. Pace and sequencing of any policy adjustment going forward. For example, should easing proceed gradually with pauses to reassess conditions, and how do we signal this clearly?
Let's now engage the Associate Director and Financial Advisory at Deloitte, Dennis Brown. Mr. Brown, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you and Yogi.
It's good to see you. I haven't seen you this year, so Happy New Year to you. The Bank of Ghana has hinted at a review of our gold purchasing program. From where you sit, what does this mean?
Well, very simple. Every policy requires intermittent review. We've seen how good that policy has been to us as an economy, helping stack up our international reserves and helping to sustain our local currency. But we've also heard recently that after a review by the IMF, it seems there's been some losses recorded through that policy as to whether it sits on the balance sheet of Gold Board or Bank of Ghana. It is not very clear, but clearly it looks like we've incurred some cost for the stability that we have achieved. So it's only right that going forward, we assess that policy. If there's a way we can minimize the losses, even if they are necessary evil, we should take that route.
Now, last year, we saw a lot of interventions by the central bank in our forex market, and many have criticized it, saying it is unsustainable. In 2026, should the central bank continue on this tangent? And what does this mean for our economy?
I mean, when people raise these sort of criticisms, the question I ask myself is whether they forget that the Bank of Ghana, aside being a regulator, is also a player in the market. They receive FX on behalf of government, and they supply FX under certain, strict guidelines. We know the rules. So they themselves are a player in the market. So if you're asking them not to intervene, and the intervention means them supplying dollars into the market, that is not possible. What we need to encourage them to do is to ensure they are prudent in doing so. If you are having to do it at the level where you are depleting your FX reserve significantly just to sustain the CD, then of course over a long term that will not be sustainable. But if you have a sustainable way of building your reserves, then for an economy of our kind, it is important that the Bank of Ghana continues to engage in proactive liquidity support, because this is what has kept the CD a bit more stable and helped it appreciate over 2025, and it helped regain confidence in the economy. Businesses are able to plan better, knowing that the next 6 months the rate is going to stay between 10 to 12. Okay, so these have their benefits in terms of injecting confidence in the economy and helping businesses plan ahead. So for an economy of ours that is not organized in a structure that is inherently generating FX on its own, it's like a condition that you have. It must be managed. You can't just look at it. If you have cancer and there's no cure for it, does not mean you should die. You keep managing it till you are able to deal with it in a much more sustainable. Yeah.
At the 128 Monetary Policy Committee meeting ongoing, are you anticipating a review of the monetary policy rate, or you think that will maintain?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Looking at the trend in inflation, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bank of Ghana cuts it down further. In fact, before the big cut they did the previous time, I doubted that they were going to do a big cut because we had seen some inflationary pressures. But they surprised everybody and they did a big cut. I think 300 or 350 basis points. But I'm not expecting a big cut again this time around. I think that it is too short a time for us to see the exact impact that it has had on the economy. So what Bank of Ghana would and should want to do is to assess the impact of the previous big cuts first, and then to see whether we are on the right path in terms of the impact that we were looking for.
Okay, Dennis, thank you very much. That's Dennis Brown. He's Associate Director and Financial Advisory at Deloitte. Now, Ghana has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening diplomatic and economic relations with Pakistan following the successful hosting of the first ever bilateral political consultations between the two countries in Accra. The engagement also saw the signing of 2 memoranda of understanding aimed at deepening cooperation across key sectors. There's more in the following report.
Director at Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Khadija Idrisu, described the engagement as a historic milestone in Ghana-Pakistan relations. She said the consultations provide a structured platform for strengthening mutual understanding, expanding cooperation, and charting a forward-looking agenda for an enhanced bilateral partnership.
Beyond today, it is our common responsibility to advance the areas of cooperation by proceeding along common guiding principles and working tirelessly for our mutual benefit. Ghana is therefore very much committed to working with friendly countries like Pakistan in a more practical and mutually beneficial way to protect our territorial integrity, sovereignty, and political independence, overcome the threats to our peace and security, promote the development and prosperity of our nations, and advance the well-being of our people.
On his part, Pakistan's Additional Foreign Secretary, Hamid Khan, said his country is pursuing a strategic vision to expand diplomatic, economic, educational, and people-to-people relations with Ghana and the wider African continent.
Pakistan and its government remain fully committed to working closely with the government of Ghana to elevate our cooperation to new heights. I am confident that the bilateral political consultation mechanism will serve as an effective platform to advance our shared objectives and to maintain regular engagement, and also to explore new and promising areas of collaboration.
Ghana acknowledged Pakistan's continued support over the 68 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. To institutionalize the partnership, the two countries signed 2 memoranda of understanding, laying the foundation for closer collaboration and sustained engagement.
That's it for the business brief. Up next is the latest sports update with Benjamin Yamuavengazi.
The business brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Come to sports. Cristiano Ronaldo led Al Nassr on Monday night to defeat Al Tawoun 1-0 in a tight and trailing match played at the Al Awal Park Stadium to surge ahead in the Saudi Pro League table. Al Nassr were thrilling at the 3rd position with 27 points in the Saudi Pro League table when the Big Yellows hit the ground on Monday. Now below Al Ali of Saudi and Al Qadsiya, a defeat against Al Tawoun would have further pushed it down the SPL table. However, Ronaldo led Saudi's FC the table after Al Hilal's weekend draw in a This news now in Down Under Australia, where Elina Svitolina crashed the world number 3 Coco Golf in Aussie Open. Semi-final setting the personal tournament best. Ukraine's top flank player extended her winning streak at the start of the season to 9 matches in a row. In the previous rounds, Vetolina defeated the year's previously top-ranked opponent in the world number 7, Mira Andreeva. The bid for a second record-breaking semi-final saw the Ukrainian face another top-10 player, Coco Gauff, who of course is dispatched now in straight sets in some 59 minutes of action in Down Under in Australia. Now, moments ago in the men's draw, Carlos Alcaraz and of course Alexander Zverev have also advanced to the semi-final stage of the ongoing Aussie Open in tennis. That's it for sports. Up next, though, is GHOne.
The entertainment zone this afternoon, American streamer and YouTuber iShowSpeed has officially wrapped up his historic Africa live stream tour in Ghana, bringing to a close a journey that captivated millions of viewers worldwide and placed the continent firmly in the global digital spotlight. His visit has sparked renewed conversations around youth tourism, cultural promotion, and Ghana's growing influence in the creative economy. GHOne News' Al-Hassan Audu has more in this report.
Live stream tour in Ghana, wrapping up a journey that gained massive international attention. Viewers across the continent and beyond. His visit to Ghana marked the final stop of a tour that blended entertainment, culture, and global digital influence. During his stay, Speed explored several iconic locations across the country. He received a rousing welcome in the country as he toured places like the Black Star Square, participated in traditional cultural ceremonies in the eastern region, experienced local practices, tasted Ghanaian cuisine, and engaged in a high-energy live stream moment that showcased Ghana's vibrant street culture and heritage to a worldwide audience. Deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Abeku Agri Santana, emphasized the importance of iShowSpeed's visit, describing it as a powerful boost to Ghana's global tourism image through digital storytelling and youth-driven engagement.
So now tourism has moved away from visiting sites and attractions to experiences and conversations. What drives interest for people to visit tourism destinations and attractions is conversation, and that is exactly what iShowSpeed is doing. If you remember, somewhere last year, November, he started his mission to Africa, 25 countries, and he's going to tell the African story which has not been told. Africa is the next destination for the world. If you put Africa's economy, GDP together, we have about 2.6 trillion, which is almost equivalent to the GDP of China. Now, what iShowSpeed did was to have a conversation, attraction on these African countries that he selected to expose the rich cultural heritage of these African countries. You realize that people don't know that you can have...
That's it for the entertainment news. Let's do some foreign news. A military court after being accused of plotting to overthrow the government of President Bola Tinubu last year, an armed forces statement has said. 16 officers were arrested last October after what were described as acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. At the time, the military dismissed rumors of an attempted coup, but following investigations, the authorities have acknowledged that some of the 16 will go before a military judicial panel. Nigeria has a complex history of military involvement in politics, with multiple coups between 1966 and 1993, which has made allegations of coup plotting highly sensitive. It is not clear how many of the 16 will go on trial, but the military authorities said the process would ensure accountability and uphold the principles of fairness and due process. And that should do for the news. I am Lily Mohammed. Thank you very much for watching. For more news updates, kindly log on to starfm.com.gh. Good afternoon.